You want it?
Okay, start off with Colin. Yeah, you get to start off.
All right, I appreciate it. Colin Sullivan with BFNS, for those that don't know who I am. I just want to give an update on CCMG. If you guys have not heard, the House legislators have passed Bill 1461, which it changes some of the CCMG rules and guidance. And just to give you an update, the cap for CCMG is getting reduced from 1.5 million down to 1 million per year. And they're going to only do one call now per year instead of the usual two. That one call for 2026 will be in October. Open up this October, from October 1 to October 31. And then for construction of 2027, it's going to be a call once a year, start next year for July. So July for the prior year before construction from now on. So I wanted to give you an update on that as far as CCMG goes. And also the match has changed for smaller communities. It used to be 75-25, it's now 80-20. So that's a good thing for you guys. And projects now will need to be shovel ready. So that means NDOT wants to see the projects designed prior to applying for CCMG. Prior, we would apply, see you get awarded, then design and get a bid. But now we only get 3 months to get a contractor hired from the date of getting awarded your application. So with all that being said, and if you guys have questions, please stop me. But with that being said, Bruce reached out and said that you guys might be interested in doing CCMG. There are some other things they have changed as well, or I guess not changed, but are getting a little stricter on. In order to apply, you need an updated phaser and asset management plan, which we currently have already done that for the town, and it is updated. Second thing is ADA plan, transition plan, and Title VI plan, which a lot of communities throughout Indiana have not an updated one. Or they have one, they're not updated, and you guys are in the same boat. I think last time it was updated was about 2020, 2022, something like that. So we are about 3 to 5 years behind on that plan, and that is something that we can assist with and help the town get in compliance with. That plan needs to be submitted to NDOT and be approved by NDOT before you can apply for CCMG. I'm trying to think of anything else like this here. I'm kind of going fast, but so with that being said, Bruce sent a couple streets over, a few streets for us to look at, and it's weird to see me talking right there. But there are a few streets that looks like you guys would like to update, but we would need. The problem is we got a lot to update before October, so we'll need to get the ADA plan first and foremost. Get that updated and the Title VI updated if you would like to apply for October. So I have brought together an agreement, which I haven't shared with anybody yet because we just did it about today. Pretty short notice, but we got it done today. And Amy, you and I have worked in the past. I have the same language in the past agreements we've done for Thorntown in there. And if you would like for us to start to get the ADA updated, I put together an agreement here, and it kind of gets the process rolling for us to apply for a CCMG grant. I talked to Dave Luck at our office, who does a lot of the ADA updating and also CCMG application. There you go. And
We'll use the same one.
I got plenty.
Oh, okay.
I made sure to bring several copies here. So our plan was to start with the ADA plan, transition, get you some cost estimates on the street segments that were provided, and kind of do a to be determined once we decide how much is, which streets you're going to do and how much work it's going to be as far as the engineering goes. We think we can get this all done for October. If you want to push, it'd be tight, but we can possibly get it done. if you want to do it, where we get up the cost estimates and go out there and look at the roads and pick and take your time with it, then it'll be a July call. So it depends on how fast the town would like to go. So that agreement there is to get your ADA Title VI transition plan updated and get your cost estimates, and also that's pretty much the start to get you in compliance for the e-comply. If that makes sense.
How long is that compliance good for?
So, good question. So the transition plan, the ADA transition plan needs to be updated every 3 years, but you have to do updates every year. So we'll need to, first thing you'll need to do is appoint a ADA coordinator and a Title VI coordinator. And that person will be responsible to keep that updated.
What is Title VI?
Title VI is you can't, like, hiring based on ethnicity, religion. It's more of an HR type of document that we've worked with other communities, and you got to get a template down that we can help you with. I don't know if you've got, I know we've done one for Thorntown, but it's been, like I said, like 5 years. So we have helped out in the past.
It's probably in this binder over here on the shelf.
Yeah, and I should have brought I have a copy of it I can send you if you guys would like to see what Title VI is, and then it's just basically the discrimination documents.
Right.
Amy may know better than I
It's not right.
do.
Well, they didn't happen to do a Title VI thing when they did like the employee handbook, did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll need a motion.
I'm happy to send that to you all, the copy that I have from Thorntown that we helped out with. Oh, you got a copy right there.
So kind of to answer your question, if we want Title VI stuff in the handbook, then as a council, you guys have to say you want that. And then Amy works with Krieg
Well, I
DeVault.
just actually was assuming that the HR company did the handbook. I just assumed if it needed to be in there, it would be in there. So that's why I was asking.
It's a little bit different, like this is the big plan that they do. So this is like, it's a lot more in-depth than just, like a
It's not
non-discrimination
just a
clause.
paragraph saying.
Okay.
Yeah, like right,
There's
there's
a
like,
lot more of
Okay.
like forms and things that go in
yeah,
there.
procedures that have to be followed and.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
It's also the grievances procedures, notices, facility evaluations, where they go through and say that you're going to improve, there's ramps that need to be put in for wheelchair accessibility or curb ramps, ADA,
Mhm.
that as well.
So you haven't looked at this yet, have you?
I just looked at it
Yes.
right now. No, I haven't looked at it.
It's
in
something
depth.
different, weird.
It's a lot of information, so sorry to have to spew it all out, but
Yeah.
feel free to ask me any kind of questions.
Anybody got anything? Any questions? I'll make a motion to accept BFNS's proposal for beginning stages of the CCMG.
I have something to add. On the financial side, as far as I know, your Title VI implementation of $5,000 and your AD transition plan of $5,000 would have to come out of your general fund, which is very tight on money. And for 2026, we still don't have that budget down to where it should be.
So we couldn't take this out of the
Do-
street funds.
I don't think so. Do you have any other information about that?
I don't know. I have to look into it. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have to start from scratch with this? It looks like
No,
it's
we will use the
2022.
template you have, but we'll have
Okay.
to go through 5 years of updates and CCNP projects.
Yeah.
Read the code changes and then you'll have to do goals and accomplishments and self-evaluation.
Okay,
There's a lot that we'll work with the town on getting some of that information.
yeah, okay.
So it's not a lot of hard work, it's just a lot of work. A lot of time.
And just so you know, a lot of questions that he's going to be asking and have to get information is going to be coming to Ally.
Hanging out a lot.
And her plate's going to be overflowing.
And this is something that, if we get this into compliance and you feel like you just need to think about it or wait till July's call, you can. But we talk internally, we can get it done, we think by October, in order to apply for October.
There's a motion on the floor. I hear a second.
Where's the money coming from? I think we established that here, have we?
I've always assumed that engineering and construction and all that would come out of the road funds.
Engineering will come out of LRS, but I don't know that the ADA and the Title VI can come out of those. I don't have anything in any of my paperwork in there that tells me that it can. Remember those pages that are in here?
You don't have anything that says it can't?
I don't have anything that says it can either.
Can you check to see Green where it came out of in 2022? I mean, not right now, but.
The ADA,
Yeah, because that was, they updated the ADA documents back in 2022.
yeah, I can look.
Okay.
So, all right, local road and street, engineering, land acquisition, construction, resurfacing, maintenance, restoration, or rehabilitation of both local and arterial road and street systems, payment of principal and interest on bonds sold to finance road projects, local costs required to undertake a recreational or reservoir road project, purchase, rental, or repair of highway equipment. That's your LRS. Your motor vehicle highway, and this would only be the restricted, because the other money that we get in the other half of motor vehicle highway is already being used for the street lights. It's being used for your your stipends, those guys the 3 guys at the utilities that do street work, they get that stipend every quarter. That's where all that comes from. There's alley repair that comes out of that particular fund. And so it's not part of it. This is only restricted and LRS. So the motor vehicle highway principally used for construction and maintenance of streets and alleys, construction, reconstruction, repair, maintenance, oiling, sprinkling, snow removal, weed and tree cutting and cleaning of highways.
Comes out of what?
I don't know what it is.
What's the funds come out of?
Local road and
Or that.
street, local road and street,
Okay,
and motor vehicle highway.
so you don't think we have the money out of there to do this?
No, she's saying we
No.
can't take it out of there. But she doesn't know if we can take it out of there, but she's saying we can't. So we have to take it from the general fund.
I don't think we can take Title VI and ADA out of LRS or MVH. And then Amy asked where we paid for this ADA stuff previously. And I would have to research that because I don't know.
Colin, how much time do you need? I mean, I know you'd like to start tomorrow, but
Yeah, we're right. It'd take a couple weeks probably to get the ADA plans ready. One nice thing is we have till the end of October to submit, so
we came up with something by the first meeting of September.
that would be, yeah, that'd probably be okay. We can make it work.
You want to rescind that motion?
We probably talk to our engineers, but I promise too much, but I think it'd be okay.
When is our first meeting of September?
The 8th.
I'll just let it die if no one's in a second.
Can it be any part of CCD?
That's.
You're gonna have to figure it out.
Colin, is there any room for, like, I mean, can you take a look at those numbers for this and see if that can be negotiated at all, or is that what it's gonna be?
That's
Depending
what,
upon what we have?
so we just did Miami counties and it was about the same cost.
Okay,
Theirs was only about a year out of date,
Okay.
5, but, I could ask Dave and see, Dave Buck's the one doing it, so.
Okay.
But with the
since you did
problem
last.
is that we need to get it done now, and he's
Yeah.
gonna drop everything to get it done, so
Yeah.
that's probably a little bit of
Yeah.
a cost on that. We can go ahead and start looking at the estimates on the road, if that helps at all, to move things a little quicker. I can ask Dave and see if he can work, I'm sure we can make it work if that's what works best for you. Just a little more overtime, that's right. The big thing is getting that submitted to NDOT and then approving it. So that's the time frame where I just can't dictate what that's gonna be. Because you gotta submit your ADA plan and then we have to go, it's good.
You want to just let it go right now?
I'm not gonna retract it. If no one seconds it, it's just gonna die. All right, someone will be in touch with you, Colin.
Sure. Yep. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. I can answer almost anything besides where the money's coming from.
Okay, public comments and concerns. Anybody in the public? Thank you.
Oh, yes. Okay.
We want to bring to your attention tiny homes. We'd like to put one on my property. They're great for elderly people who still want some independence.
It's this exact one we were talking about.
We met with the meeting last week, and they're looking at all the new ordinances and zoning and all that, and considering that, but they suggested we also bring it to you guys for support. They jokingly said, since I donated land to the town.
I can speak to that as well, Rick, if you don't mind, since we were there together. I can give you guys the update on the APC in regards to the price as well. Good time. So they would like to add a tiny home stretch to 210 north front to street going down Indiana. The issue is, in our ordinance, we don't have anything for a tiny home, which is minimum requirement for square footage for a house. So we talked to Marcellus Johnson in regards to, what our options are to make this happen and bring it forward, in front of the board. And there is a typical accessory dwelling unit section. Debbie Luzier is currently working on the whole section, the whole zoning ordinance portion. But we thought that since they're in a kind of a dire need situation, we could accelerate that portion and bring it to the board to see if that's something you consider. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, at any point in time, she's from Florida and it was a result of being relocated due to hurricanes. So she's lost all of her property. And so she's trying to move someplace where she can actually live. Mr. Beckhold's got property and she got to put a tiny home on that property.
His wife is my daughter.
Yeah, not just out.
There's a family connection. Thank you for clarifying that. And so that basically what we directed them to do is to bring forth to you, to tell you what their needs are. It's currently not in our ordinances. So that's first. Number two, we were considering or wanting to accelerate just this portion since she's in dire straits at the moment to see if get this section written. And then there has to be a public review and then bring it forward, bring it in front of the board for you to decide if you want to move forward on it. So there's one piece that when you met last time that we did not bring up to you is there has to be a public hearing. So once we rewrite the ordinance, then we bring it out to the public and say, hey, this is our new ordinance. What's the community think? And then people come in and comment, how they feel about it. And then we bring that information. So that's part of the process. So that's basically what we're wanting to do is, one, accelerate that written process of the tiny home since she's currently homeless or without a place to live at the moment.
I also have some medical problems and this will allow me to be with my daughter. But then I'll be in their house. It would let me be by myself, but right there on the property.
So
And it's only 399 square feet, which is the limit for an ADU, according to what I've read.
Could we have this presented to the BZA?
I'm sorry.
Asking Amy here if the BZA can review it. Make have one and make an exception for this one.
But we don't have anyone appointed.
Yeah, we do.
People that were appointed to that are no longer around. We don't have an active
Did they
BZA.
buy one of them?
I would have to go look it up. I don't know that he was ever
We
like
just never-
installed for it
We just never had a need for it.
For a special exception.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that Wines, I believe, was one of them.
And that's when we established the BZA because Amy was adamant that we need to have that.
Right.
So if we're in a situation, rather than her having to wait for a whole ordinance to be rewritten in public hearing,
I think we would, there's still a procedure. I don't know that it would be much faster, going through the BZA. But a special exception can be more limited, to a particular situation. We have several criteria that have to be met though for a special exception to be granted. So we should probably look into that, before we go that route. But if tiny homes is something that is being considered generally, if that's something that the planning commission wants to consider allowing generally and making kind of a comprehensive change to that rule, then the procedure that he's recommended would be fine.
so how would that impact our wastewater system? Would it be an addition to that, would you have to,
you're adding additional homes. And
so would they require an impact fee and all of those things?
Well, if it's a new connection, yes.
Yeah, any connection.
So,
Be an impact fee on the sewer, on the electric, on the water.
Water.
Yeah.
I can loan you 10 to get you by.
So, Rick, what they're talking about impact fees, whenever you attach to the water system, water district, there's a fee to attach to it. It's an old term we used to call it tap fee, but it's not more, it's more than a tap fee because you have to purchase extra chemicals, from a lot portion, so it's a substantial cost to be able to access that, so that's what
But neighbor, there's also a tap fee that's additional to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
cost for the.
So new build, I can tell you. New build, capacity fee for water is 4,000. Capacity fee for sewer is 4,000. Tap fee for water is $750. Tap fee for sewer is $750, and the park impact is $1,560, I believe it is. And all of plus, then you're gonna have your new home permit fee on top of that as well, which is $300 plus 10 cents per square foot.
House sells for 30,000, and I'm gonna pay 13,000 for fees to the town.
Or tax fees, et cetera, that's correct. Approximately.
We may need that 10.
Yeah.
That is.
If
Isn't that
for
the same fee I would
hurricanes, you lose
pay
your
if I built
home.
my own? If I built a regular house, wouldn't I pay that same fee?
Yes,
But we're only talking 400 square feet. So there's no way I'm gonna use the
But
same
if-
amount of water.
if
Sewer or anything.
there's a new line put in for the water and the sewer, then yes, that'll be considered new build and those fees will be there.
It's already built. Home. It's. Yeah. I lost my money, I've lost my home
Yeah.
and my health. And they've been kind enough to let me come there and stay. So I'm trying to find a way that I can live. I can't afford $1,896 a month rent. It just ain't gonna happen, I'm on social security, that's all I got left. And I'm 79 years old, almost 80.
So I think what we'll have to still do though is to talk to Deb and see if, because it is a smaller footprint, how that works, what other towns have done, or is it just, even if they're tapping into what's already there, since it's already an established property?
They would have their own separate.
It's still an impact, the impact fees cover the cost that we're paying for new water facilities. It has nothing to do with how much you use or where you're at. It's an impact fee that we've all paid into this plan out here. Now, the people that come in pay that impact.
And now he's donated land for the water, but that doesn't matter.
What?
He donated part of the land that you wanted for your water tower.
Nobody offered me money. I didn't know that we all set on fees. I mean, that's just, to me, that's like putting a shed up and charging all those fees. How much can an 80-year-old woman drink to flush?
It's crazy.
What she uses, she will pay for by the gallon she uses.
I understand that, but the
That has nothing to do
introductory
with the
cost
impact.
is more than what the house is going to cost.
That house is $30,000.
It's in the ordinance. I don't know.
You can't go buy one here for that,
Okay, so
not unless you're from Lillard, I guess.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't charge you the impact fees.
No, we're saying you shouldn't charge the same amount that you're charging out here in your 200 some new homes. Those homes are gonna be there for years to come. My house is 200 and some years old.
It's paying the impact fee, correct me if I'm wrong, Amy. The impact fee is to pay the share of what new water facilities and new sewer facilities, people in town have already paid that. People in town have already contributed to that new facility. And people that move in and build a new place have not contributed to that.
And giving
So they
you
get-
land isn't contributing?
I don't know about that. I don't know anything about that.
There's no way we can make some kind of a special exception. I mean, I sympathize with them. They gave us land to do what we need to do.
Land that nobody's touched
And-
since I signed the paperwork 2 months
I'm
ago.
just saying, can we not come up with something? I'm not saying give it to them for free. I'm not saying that.
Neither am I.
Just asking. Is there any options?
I think we probably do.
I think that would be probably a conversation that Dave or Bruce could have separately outside of a public meeting.
Well, who set the rule on 1,200 square foot? Is that a state law? Is that a county?
That isn't a tiny home.
That's in
I understand that. I'm just asking a question. Whoever set that rule, then
That came in along, I mean, I was familiar with Boone County had
That's been in our ordinance
it's
for
just been there forever.
Somewhere along the line, the town
for
council
a
said
long
that.
time. So, I mean, it's
well,
just,
that's been more than just this town. That's been, at least been all over the state.
No. This town at some point set that 1,200.
They may have, but this isn't the only town that's like that. It's been set probably all over the state for 1,200 square feet is the smallest you can build. And the tiny homes violate that. But my question is, can we change this ourselves and accept it? Or does it have to go through the county or the state in order to do that?
no,
It does not have to go through the county
We
or
can
state,
change
just
our-
plan commission and town council.
we can change our ordinance.
The question is, why did they make it a minimum of 1,200 feet?
That was, who knows? That was,
To prevent,
that was a long time ago, and that was probably long before tiny homes ever existed. It's just a number they come up with, somewhere along the
And
line.
that's a big
Somebody
mobile
was
home.
obviously trying to build smaller homes when they made that move.
I'm pretty sure.
They made that for a reason. It probably had something to do with land values. Possibly.
Many of those ordinances were set after World War II. Following World War II, there was a lot of national homes that were 890 square feet. And so a lot of counties and towns across the state adopted 11, 12, 1,400 square feet, whatever the number is they came up with in response to those smaller houses, because many of the town boards were believing that it was going to affect property values in their towns to have small houses. That's what the result was, come out of national homes were a big part of that.
So yes, we
Greenfield
could
Village
change our
owns are
ordinance
selling
and
for
make
now.
and allow for
Yeah.
tiny homes. If it's not, then you could still go with a minimum square foot unless it's a certified tiny home. I don't know. But yeah, that we could change.
From the programs I've watched, those tiny homes could be anywhere from 400 square feet to 800 square feet, depending on the builder and what the person wanted. There was no set limit on a tiny home. It could be anything in there. So how do we set a limit? Or do, we just arbitrarily say anybody can have a tiny home? Well, that really doesn't satisfy a limit on the square footage.
You would just change the square footage in the ordinance,
To what?
whatever you decide you want.
Whatever we decide we want.
If you don't want a tiny home to be less than 600 square feet, then you change it to 600 square feet.
And then somebody will come in and want a 400 square foot tiny home.
Well, they might.
And then you do
So-
it again.
Those are things that the APC would talk with Deb and Marcellus about to get a better understanding of what other communities do. And then you all make your own decision of what you want.
AARP and the APA have an ADU collaboration on the, I'm not thinking the word, online. And there was another one that I went to that's called Expanding ADU Development and Occupancy Solutions for Removing Local Barriers. And it goes through the laws for Indiana. And I found it really interesting. And that's where Indiana said their law for 400 being a tiny house. And they also have something called a thon, which is tiny house on wheels. So that's it, the tiny house on wheels. And actually that is on wheels. You can get them without or with.
So just for clarification, real quick, what we're asking is if we can have Deb Lazier work on the ordinance and accelerate that ordinance. And then at the same time, if you're interested in tiny homes, we'll get you an ordinance to review it. Deb Lazier already has an ordinance that she can use. Got a copy of it.
What'd she use for footage?
I'm sorry?
What'd she use for footage?
It was 400 square feet in the write-up that she had. I think your home's 399
Yeah.
square feet. So this one's our cross.
And that,
It's basically, what she sent us was accessory dwelling. Now, if you have an accessory dwelling, it's physically attached to the house. So you're pulling water and electricity from the existing home. So it's now just more for a home versus a separate structure. Because we had talked, well, maybe to get this moving quicker, we put a tiny house next to your house in a breezeway. It's attached to your home, that would alleviate the concept of a tiny home. It just now becomes an addition to the house. The other end of the spectrum is looking at a house on the property where she's overwhelmed the septic side.
I was gonna bring, and I'm just bringing that, I'm just thinking out loud. So you're talking about all these impact fees and what's going to flow through the tiny house. So have you thought about just putting an addition on the house if you don't have impact fees? And I don't know if it would be cheaper, more expensive, or maybe. And that's a thought, and yes, we did consider it after we met with them. I guess my problem is she's put 79 years. Where is it? My right, the other way she's put live.
Personal preference.
I have my property and I mow 2 acres. I gave away a small piece. I got plenty. It's not personal. I'm just, oh no, it's just I took
Yeah,
it
we're
that
working around
way
established ordinances.
because I see all these new homes and nobody has a problem with that. We go all out to build all those new homes. At a time, when I first moved up here, we didn't want to build homes. We wanted to keep the town small. We could get into a long story about that, but we could be here all night. But what I'm thinking is, my house actually, I think, gains value if it has a home for grandma. It gains value to you. No, it gains it to other people who are close enough as a family that rather than put mom in the nursing home, they want to keep her with them as long as they can. And at $3,000 a month, the average person like me can't keep them very long at all.
And that's what the going rate is now for the senior living that you have in Lebanon.
How are the tax assessments impacted on something like that?
It would be added as separate living quarters, accessory unit, and tax assessment as well. And it would, the challenges you run into with accessory units are different in every situation, but lending sometimes becomes more difficult. If there's an accessory unit, they don't qualify for the same types of mortgages, doesn't mean they don't qualify, it's just a different type of mortgage. There's a whole lot of things that you have to consider in the ordinance that helps alleviate some of those problems.
What about mailing address and things like that? Because it wouldn't technically be separate property. I don't know, I'm asking
No,
random
I see where you're
questions,
coming
but just,
A lot of places call them granny flats.
and if, you know, if we're bringing this concept into the town, we have to make sure that we're preparing for all this because this sets a precedent going forward. So,
Well, the mailing address, the post office will just give you a half,
yeah,
like,
In the post office
well, like my
box is
shop,
what I
my
have.
shop is 501.5,
right.
and the house is 501, so that's not a problem of getting an address. But let me get back with you, and we'll see if we can work on something and get back with you. Give us a chance to see what we can do.
You've got my phone number.
So I think to answer your question though, I don't know, I think you guys need a direction to Deb to go forward with that particular ordinance. Would you
Is the
agree?
board favorable to that decision?
I
You
would,
can move forward
yeah,
on it? I mean, it's fair, you don't have to vote on it, but
yeah, I
is
think,
that something that,
Well,
because I hate to have a big tiny home section added just for no one to be interested,
right, well,
and that costs money. So,
if we have a BZA, wouldn't it be more prudent to request a special exception to the ordinance for such a thing instead of changing the ordinance?
Let me look
Because
in.
that's
Yeah.
something you then deal with on a case-by-case basis
Mhm.
versus,
Yeah,
like Grumpy said, if we lower the limit to 600 square feet,
and it's across the board.
someone's gonna come in and want one that's 399 square feet. So I don't know if would it be more prudent to run something like that through the BZA as opposed to changing the ordinance?
It might be, let me look at the criteria that the BZA has to consider whenever they're determining whether a special exception can be given, just to see if this might fit under there. If I look at that criteria and this doesn't fit, and the BZA wouldn't be able to give a special exception for whatever reason, then no. But I can take a look at that too. Yeah. And I can talk to
Somebody-
Deb
I mean,
Lazier about that
I've
also.
heard,
She-
I've heard this stuff for a long time on the 1,200 square foot. Somebody somewhere, probably in Washington, has come up with what it takes. So most families have got a man, a wife, and a couple kids. And they figured out what it takes for them to be comfortable to live, and they've come up with the 1,200 square feet. That's probably what got adopted on our deal sometime back whenever it got adopted. But this is nationwide. It isn't just Northtown. A lot of other towns have the 1,200 square foot rule.
Mhm.
But if we can do something to help her out, I don't have a problem with it. We just need a little time to do it. So if you can look up, if we
I
can
could,
do
yeah, I'll look up
something.
the special exception,
Okay.
yeah.
I will look in the book in there and see if we have anybody left on the BZA.
You could, yeah, you might have to reappoint people, you know. all of that.
Yeah.
Bruce, you had, what's that? Out of state.
The impact fees are so
Yeah.
I don't have a problem working with something, but the problem is that he's got one tap on water, he's got one tap on sewer. And if there was another one already in the yard,
And
We can use it, we wouldn't have that problem, we wouldn't have, we can use what's there, but since he's only got one tab, it's a new tab, the whole thing. I mean, we wrote the ordinance and accepted the ordinance on
Yeah, I know a lot of
on
places
these
are.
impact fees.
Well, how does-
When anybody comes in, it's over $2,000, give me an exception, or what we can do, if we get rid of it.
They're becoming more
The
popular.
the exception to the square footage and
Daddy, close your ears. Baby
impact fees are two
boomers
separate
are
things.
not
I know it, but
folks.
if you have the same
I
thing,
understand.
Come to that age.
Right, you don't want a lot to take care of.
And on campus. So, okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
we'll get back with you. Okay? Thank you, appreciate it.
I will see you then. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
What's up next?
APC, they just went outside. We don't have anybody in the park board, do we? Fire department,
For the fire department, the month of July, we had around 41 runs total. About 30% of those were in town. That brings us to a grand total of 344 runs for the year. We're at. I do want to take this opportunity to thank everybody that came to our fish fry on Saturday. Even with the very hot weather, it turned out to be a really good event. I think we were just over 1,300 people. So again, thanks to all the community that came and showed their support to us. We're really grateful for it. We love seeing it.
Is that about normal or was that down a little
It
bit?
was down a little bit, slightly, yeah. So I think we did get impacted. We were hoping not to. I think it did impact us just a little bit. And more on like the reserving. Once people got their food, I think they were hot, ready to get out of there. But again, appreciate everybody coming through that weather. We're continuing to work on that 5 to 10 year plan that you guys have asked for.
This was Cody. Okay.
We'd like to, as our chief mentioned the last meeting, we'd like to set up a date for you guys to come and kind of tour the station and really get to see what we do. We have a tentative date of September 4th, which is a Thursday, at 6:30 if you guys are available. We can send a follow-up email to the board. Yeah. We would just be doing a quick tour, kind of going over the assets that belong to both the town and the township. Again, just a brief overview of just everything we're involved with from the volunteer side and how we run our department.
What time did you say?
6:30 p.m. That's all I had for.
okay, thank you. APC, you got anything more?
No, that was the big item we discussed. Update on.
Okay. Police department,
Yeah, I think I spoke last time, the last, store. It's gonna cost $7,000-8,000. We're doing that, so I need to finish it. We'd like to probably get rid of that land charge and just pass the top of the dirt drives down to the reserves. And you can just go ahead and get another, we're almost to that time anyway, so. I've gotten quotes for another Tahoe, another truck, both of them are right now bid. So it's kind of surprised, not a whole lot. We kind of got like the air
What do you prefer, Tahoe or truck?
We've done our thing. Last year.
Yes, yeah. Oh, it's surplus.
What's that?
Salvage is like, we don't have any no value. So declare them surplus, then after that, we can advertise them for sale. Yes. Okay. I better check that out.
They're coming out with the new Chevy trucks now. C rated. I think it was 50 and the Tahoes are 52. I think with the Tahoe, I have to wait until January to get it. I went with the truck, I can get it probably tomorrow. So it's,
Is that from someplace up north like the last time? Or where you got them from?
I don't know, I think this one might be different plane. Like Brett was talking to about, he's a local guy. I don't remember his name. So, other than that, the Robbie, his last name is Friday, Mitchell starts tonight. So there's a real gap there. But we are gonna have gas, I mean, that takes away another reserve. So I'm down to 2 reserves. I was talking with Corey, because I know reserves were a big part of the cost of liability insurance. I haven't talked to that insurance person yet, but I'd like to probably hire at least 2 or 3 more, just to make sure we've got adequate coverage. We're not gonna have it. We're going to be jammed up festival time, so it might be full double, triple, 24 hours a day. I don't know. It's gonna be work go on.
We still have luck with the deputies from the sheriff's department for this festival.
Yeah, they'll come up. I mean, usually for just the parade, some of them will stay around for a little bit. They're short too long, guys. I mean, everybody's short, I think, except one. So, aside from time, it's just one of those things.
Frank, I know I've asked you this before, but what's Mitchell's last name?
I don't remember what we talked about. The older vehicles, the Charger and the Explorer, are they going to be traded in toward the new vehicle?
I don't think it's worth it. I don't think.
So we want to sell them ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have to do a surplus resolution first. That can be presented September the 8th. And then after that, we'll be able
We're
to.
not driving it right now. I mean, we may use it for the festival. So, we're going to strip it out. We get something else, I mean, obviously, anything out of there, we'll stay in it, but a lot of stuff out of that Explorer can go with something else, so cut the cost there too. So, it's something like that. Or how it is, think about it.
So you'll probably need to get the vehicle information to you or Amy?
I'll email it to all of you as soon as.
Whoever's, VIN number and
Oh,
I should have it all in my drawer.
Approximate value.
Can you get an approximate value on those vehicles? And then we'll look through my titles and make sure we have the right vehicle.
Is that it?
He
Okay.
emails a report and we get a copy of it, so he emails his report ahead of time as well, a run report.
No utilities are at the bottom. I was gonna kind of skip them tonight.
I can't hear you.
It's up,
It's,
you're up.
I'm up, okay, I got a couple things. We had a utility board meeting Friday, and at that meeting, we voted unanimously to request a water rate increase of 12%. That's, I believe, we can double check, but I believe that's the amount we have left after our last 50% increase. I think we had on our rate study approval for 62% rate increase.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. It's 12%. So, water, we're still just getting by. We're gonna have a lot of expenses coming up we're gonna have to pay anyway, and none of us saw any reason not to go ahead and put in for a 12% increase. It's gonna increase a lot more than that eventually anyway. So maybe if we do that now, we won't have to increase it as much when we get all done with this other plan. What y'all think?
from when they did the last water study.
Don't see how we can keep from it. So,
It raised the rate at that time as high as it could be. So now they're wanting to go back and increase it again and implement it.
To increase the water rate, is that what you're saying? Yes, yeah, we have to have an ordinance and a public hearing. And now the rate study, was this part of the most recent rate study that was done? Okay, so it recommended a 62% increase and you increased it 50% at the time?
The way
Is that
I
right?
understood it, there was a 3-year plan, 5-year plan, and a 7-year plan.
Okay,
And the 5-year plan was 50%, the 7-year plan was 62%. And what I was told from the guy that did it was if we did 50, we could come back and do the 12 without another raise.
okay. Was that Steve Rock that did that? Okay. Oh, do you have that, Max? Do you have that you could send to me, the rate study?
No, I do have it, but I don't have it with me.
It's okay.
I can get it.
You just get it to me, okay. Okay, I'll review that, yeah.
I actually meant to doing that, and I didn't get it up. So that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, then
We'll take a look at it.
I can go plan B. What else did I have? Oh, I didn't make the last meeting, but I understand there was some discussion about a $14,000 fee that we pay in lieu of property tax, and we want to raise that fee to a higher amount. So, I'm not against that, and I don't think anybody else on the board is against it. What my suggestion is, if it's for property taxes, we should figure out what it should be according to property taxes, and not just some random number that we decide we're gonna charge the utilities, because we need some more money.
I think there has to be a study on that, right?
Yeah, we're not gonna put up a big fight about that.
I think that'd be generally good. Yeah.
My only comment, and again, I don't want to sound negative, and I don't want to sound like I'm against this, but, and maybe you might be able to answer this. I don't understand if they don't charge utility property taxes. I assume that's to help the utility not have to raise our rates. So now the town is charging us the property taxes.
Want me to explain?
Sure.
So the property tax, none of us as municipalities pay property tax.
All right.
Okay? So since the utilities are a business, the general fund does not get any property tax because you don't pay any.
Right, but why don't we pay any to begin with?
Because that's what statute says.
Because what?
Statute. That's what the government says, that the municipality doesn't pay. That's not our decision.
I know, but
So,
the government decided to do that to help the municipalities.
well, I don't know why they decided to do that. I wasn't involved that many years ago.
All right,
All I can tell you is everybody else's property taxes over the past 20 years have increased. The amount that the utilities pay in lieu of tax has never increased. So
Okay,
the whole point is you are a business, the town doesn't get any property tax from you guys as a business, so therefore you guys pay the town the tax.
I keep hearing my audit business, I keep hearing.
I think it,
Anyway.
no one really knows why. I guess not. In lieu of taxes is probably, for one, it's probably would be cheaper than what your normal property taxes would be. Second of all, if you guys did pay property taxes, the town still don't get the whole amount of property tax. I mean, it's chopped up
Right.
20
so-
different ways. So They probably did that, yes, because we're a government entity and we're not gonna pay property taxes because we're the government. But,
Okay, that's fine. So here's the
but
bottom
who
line.
knows what?
Here's the bottom line, and I'm probably gonna sound like a smart aleck here, but that's not my intention. So we're paying 14,000 now. I don't know what you're trying to get, but I heard a number of doubling this to 28,000. That sounds a little high to me, but like I said, I think we need to see what the tax should be and go with that, and it might be more than 28,000, I don't know. But just know, if you charge us 14 more thousand or more than that, there's gonna be another rate increase. We don't, this money doesn't pop up magically over there either. It's gotta come from somewhere. So you take $14,000 or $16,000 out of that money over there. Some of it's gonna come out of water. So there goes our rate increase that we're asking for. Some of that's gone, and it's gonna come out of other things. So just know when you're doing this, think about, it's not magic money. It's coming out of our budget, and it's gotta be made up somewhere unless it's a small amount. So, again, I know I sound like a smart aleck saying that, but that's just reality. The money's, just like you guys aren't getting money from whoever you get it from. If we don't charge it to somebody, we're not getting it either. So it's not magic money that's just coming out of nowhere.
Well, I think you and I agreed that we need to figure out what would be
What would
the
our
property
taxes be?
be, your property tax be with what you have over there in the utility side. And then we can come up with some equitable
Right.
That might be a Jerry.
money that, I mean, it may not raise any. It could only raise $1,000 or it may double. I don't know.
Right.
But we don't have any way to know that until we know what your property tax would be.
I agree. And, you know, if that's fair, and it's fair, and I don't have a problem with it. But just want to make sure we're all aware that it's not magic money. We don't just snap our fingers and come up with $14,000.
You're currently in the process of doing your asset management totals.
It's what it's done through
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, so we can take those numbers and give them to Jared, have him do some calculations based on those total dollars. And that'll give you an idea of what the taxes would be if it was a private industry paying the taxes. And that's where this comes from, is that when you have municipally owned land, it takes that land off the tax roll. And so that's where the payment for the taxes comes from, because it comes off the tax roll. And it's the same for nonprofit organizations and for state organizations. And so when the state comes in and buys land in your county or in your town, a lot of times they'll do a payment for the taxes because they know they're taking that off of the tax roll.
Thank you for that. That makes sense. I understand that now. So that was where I was trying to get to a little bit, with why it's paid. So that makes sense to me. Again, the board, across the board, I think, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any of us have a problem with paying that money. But
You want
you
to be,
just have to know that if it's a lot of money, it's gotta come from somewhere. And it'll have to come, if we get low after we pay this, it'll have to be a rate increase.
Well, we were gonna get the 14 anyway, right?
Right, we get $1,165.19 a month now from utilities for the tax.
Okay, so what it would be then, if it's more, it would be a percentage divided by 12, add to that.
No, I don't believe so. So we get X amount of dollars from water, X amount of dollars from sewer, which is our largest contributor, and X amount of dollars from electric, which is our smallest contributor. It's like $144 a month from electric and $7.99 from sewer and 200 and something from water.
Yeah,
That
but
we
what I'm
get.
getting at, then you have to divide, if it comes up and it's more money because taxes have raised, then you're gonna have to divide that into this same thing that you got now. So instead of paying a dollar, they're gonna pay $2, or $5, they're gonna pay $10 for the three things that you're getting them for. It's gonna have to be divided into those three things.
Yes, so it's something that Jared will have to look at and figure out, you know, by the numbers, what should, in modern day rates, what should the taxes from the utilities be? So each of those would change.
Okay.
And I
That's
think
my
everything
point.
has to come from each fund. I don't think, like electric, for example, can pay for everybody.
Well, me either, but I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But that would be something that you gotta say that you want Jared to figure that, and we can get him doing that.
Well, yeah, we do. We need them to do it.
And I'm not sitting here trying to say we're gonna automatically raise the rates because of the next terms. I'm just saying, depending on what that number is and what account it's coming out, of, it could turn into something where we have to raise it if we're short on money. Hopefully, we won't have to do that. I wonder more about the water.
We need to-
account than anything.
We need to
And
make a
actually,
motion.
sewer is not actually tearing it up right now either, so.
We need to make a motion for the raising of the 12% for the water.
Oh, not yet, no, because, I mean, I can just get started working on that ordinance if that's something that you want me to do, but you won't vote on that until we introduce the ordinance, have the public hearing, and then you can adopt the ordinance.
Okay, yeah, yes, you need to do that.
Okay.
I guess we have to make sure it's legal anyway.
Right, we have to look at the rate study and make sure that it's covered by the most recent rate study, and if not, you have to go back and do another rate study to justify it.
I'm so sorry. New stuff, new stuff.
Okay, moving right along. We need to approve the minutes for July 28th.
Hold on a second. Earl? You,
Yeah, I'll remind you guys, the estimate for the street patching is still hanging out there. I showed it to you last time.
Yeah.
You're gonna look at it.
we have the money for it.
Earl,
Yeah.
did you get my email that says you need to
Yes,
try to get
I
two others?
contacted two other places and I heard back from them.
We need to make sure that that is in the minutes.
Yes,
It was
it was-
49 something.
You heard back from no one, is that what
I
you
asked
said?
for an estimate from Baumgartner Asphalt for Fishers and Precision Contractors, and neither one of them have gotten back.
And the one we currently have is how much? 40?
49 something.
49,308.
Who's that, Young and Sons?
Yes.
Nothing what size.
Um,
I'll make a motion to accept the bid for paving and patching from Young and Sons for $49,308.
I second it. All in favor? Opposed?
So I may have to get with Earl to make sure we understand this. This will be MVH restricted and LRS. I have to go back and look. One of those can pay for alleys, one of them cannot. So we'll have to figure out if we're doing some alley work, we got to figure out what's what, so we'll know how to pay it. So we'll get with you.
Yeah, not, Earl, I need to know, like he had just asked you, I need to know what size deck you got.
Yes.
If you want, you want a 5-foot deck. I'll get you a price, but it'll be a Toro that's satisfactory.
Yes. For an estimate, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just get you an estimate,
yeah, that's good.
and you may not want it from there, I don't care, it doesn't, I mean, Howard has to work on it whether we buy it from him or not, because it's a Toro,
Right.
so.
Problem is getting to work on it.
Did you just build us one down there, that fab shop?
I probably could.
That's the story.
Okay. Minutes for July 28th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for July 28th and August 4th.
I hear a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Alrighty.
Okay.
So,
Opposed, anybody?
it's down, place where Grumpy
Motion
signs. He's the only
passes.
one that has to sign those. Is he signing that? Yes.
Okay, we're down to clerk treasurer.
All right, let me find my stack. Okay. The first thing I'm going to mention, I talked with Mike Kleinpeter this afternoon. And on the Okra grant, that is going to be press release on August the 20th. They haven't put out anything yet as to who the winners are. So press release August 20th. So hopefully by the end of this week, we'll know. Once we know, somebody will let you know. The other thing, I found something new in my reports, and I gave you all a copy to look at. So what this is when I do my bank recs every month on the 7 checkbooks that we have, I found a little report that actually just kind of summarizes those and puts them all together. And I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of wish I would have found it a long time ago, but I just didn't. So what it does is it shows you on the front sheet, I guess what I look at, what I liked was at the very last column, the total record amount. It shows you how much money on this particular report was in the bank on July 31st. And of course, you can see all the other different things that, where the outstanding deposits, the checks, things like that. Where it talks about total adjustments, for example, under Town General, for example, if I have something that the bank has and maybe I don't have it posted, or I have something posted and the bank does not, I have to make adjustments in the computer in order to be able to balance. So obviously on general, there's something else going on in there, but part of that money under total adjustments also has to do with the money that is in Trust Indiana. Then you can look at the payroll again. Same situation happened at the end of July as what happened at the end of December. I'm processing payroll on July the 29th. The actual payday is not till August 1st. So if I were to run a report now, effective August 1st, that minus 34,000 is going to be totally different because everything from that August 1st payroll would be posted. We've got some other situations in the checking account. Actually, Sarah's the only one that has seen that type of thing. But due to some interaction between the utility module that comes to me and some stuff that we did, I'm talking 2 years ago, I have to put some adjustments in that run all the time to make things balance until the State Board of Accounts shows up and says that we can make these corrections. So like your 458138, that's one of those things. The 15291, that's one of those items. So anyway, you've got lists in there. I let you know on the front what the bank number is, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So if you look at the bank number, you've got outstanding deposits that are being shown, you've got outstanding checks, you've got those reports in there. But the page that I really liked is the last page. So for example, up there on town, that $162,084.12, that is money that is sitting in Trust Indiana. So that's the $100,000 for the fire department, $50,000 for the CCD, and interest that has been earned since it's been in there. You see electric down there. So it shows us how much money is, operations money is in Trust Indiana, how much depreciation money is in Trust Indiana, and how much guarantee deposit money is in Trust Indiana. So each month, you're going to see those change. They'll increase every month. Sewer shows the same thing down there. So I like the idea that it printed out that page, and I think that is something that would keep you guys a little bit more abreast as to the kind of money that's in Trust Indiana.
For it, does it break down, does it show the interest of the month, or is it just the total that's in?
This just shows total. I mean, I've got a whole different
Right,
sheet in there that would show, yeah, the Trust Indiana statement
right. I just wondered.
would break it down more the way you like it. So anyway, I wanted to share it, wanted to show it, find out if it's something that you liked or didn't like, and find out if it was anything that you wanted to be added for the reports at the end of the month. Then, this is my last council meeting. So I wanted to share with the public that I have enjoyed my time here. Altogether, about 7 years, counting the 4 months back in 2018, have learned a lot of different things. And I just wanted the citizens to know that I have enjoyed being here and serving everybody. Until you have sat in this seat, you just don't have any idea what each day is going to be like. You hear all kinds of stories. You get to meet all kinds of people. And that is just a reward itself, to get to meet all of those people. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to do that. I feel strongly that I am leaving this desk in very good hands of Allie Hickman. We've been working together already. Allie is bringing to this desk a lot of knowledge that I don't have, because I'm old enough to be her mother. So she knows a whole lot more about IT, hopefully more about website than I do. She has marketing background that I think she's going to be helpful in some other areas with that. She has organization skills, which is exactly what it takes to do this job. She understands, I think, council, you'll remember Dax being in here and talking to us about branding the town, which we never did. Allie has been through stuff like that, branding businesses, et cetera, et cetera. She has had marketing experience dealing with farmers markets in Carmel. So she's got a lot of good things in her background that she's going to be able to bring to the table. And I feel very good about retiring and letting her have the reins. So, town, thank you. You're welcome. That's all.
Okay, before we get to the budget, Angie, do you have anything you want to expound on?
I got all kinds of stuff to talk about. He's got like 5 pages of stuff. No, you know, I just want to give you a little update on a couple of different things. The Arbor Homes, we are inspecting some of that. They've got the first house already up, not done, but it's close. The water is scheduled to have a hydrostatic test this week. The sewer, all of it passed, all of its tests. We have a few issues with the lift station that are getting corrected. Overall, contractor's doing a great job. We got a good contractor out there. Millennium Hills, really good. And so I don't expect the water mains not to pass, but we'll be there to make sure they are. So that's Arbor. The other thing, the treatment plant design is moving forward. I've been working with Amy on the contract and we got it all set up. So we're good. We'll have, what we've scheduled here is probably, I'll give you some information. We're going to try to get IDEM permits in November. We still have to get water quality analysis, survey, and soil borings done. And those are scheduled already. We're going to try to advertise for bids in December, open bids in January. We're still shooting for December of next year. It may stretch into the spring. But as I've mentioned, we'll be able to get permits for phase 2 and 3 without, as long as we're in construction. We'll be okay. So. Is that it?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah.
Dan and I've been working together. He's gonna give me a drawing so we can get some quotes for the clearing for the well. Couple things we need to think about on that. The plan moving forward is to use that site. There's still the availability of the other acreage next to it. And while we didn't think that was gonna be the answer for this, Corinne brought up to me that your park impact fees that you're collecting now, some of them you have to have expansion of your park system to use those monies. So it may be a possibility if you were to go ahead and look at the acquisition of that acreage, you could possibly use some of that with your park impact fees and be able to utilize some of that money. So that was a good idea, I thought, something to look at, and you can do both with that. They can coexist together. And hey, you're going to do a budget discussion here in a minute, is that what I heard? Okay, so I won't get into that yet, but other than that, we've been working on, we met today, Amy and I, and we're working on the TIF district and we're starting to get that going. So.
Everything here on the 4765, solar, you commented on the meeting never happened.
Yeah.
Letting us know.
There was a presentation by the contractor that the county hired to do the application for the IDEM district that would be out there. It is a very preliminary action, and it's just basically the county saying that we're in favor of that district being created, and that has to be done before the permit could be turned into IDEM. I don't expect, I think my belief is they didn't really, I think they wanted to table it, but I think it's going to move ahead. That doesn't really affect what we're doing and trying to work on. So, that ability for us to work together with the county is still wide open. It's just, this is just one of those very first preliminary steps that has to happen. And it had to go in front of the county commissioners and it had to go in front of the county council. And they both have to approve. So, again, it goes back to that taking land off of the tax roll is part of that. So that's why the county council has to do it. So that those areas, if they're not privately owned, utilities would have to be set up as utility. tax
So,
exempt as well.
that's on it.
So there's a lot of steps involved in that, but that was one of the first ones.
But do you see any time frame that we would have a meeting with us and them to discuss?
Like Max said, I'm reminding them that we need to be a part of these early discussions too, so I'm hoping we can get something set up in the next 30, 60 days to sit down.
Green and I had a little discussion about the park situation, and what we don't know is if we have a requirement for more land for a park, based on what we have now, what is the requirement and how many acres do we still have to have? And then my thought is if Arbor builds their 163 homes, there's gonna be a park in there. That whole area, I'm sure, would be coming to Thorntown. They don't wanna keep coming back to Thorntown. I'm sure they're not going to Sheridan to take care of Sheridan, what they built up there. Unless they have another place they can build more homes. I mean, that park there is gonna end up being our park.
Well, there's two ways that's handled, and it's done differently in different situations, but they could have the homeowners association manage that park. That's possible. But more typically is like what you're talking about. Once they get done, get all the houses built out, they typically will turn that over to public management. So yeah, I mean, it can go either way, but I would expect, I think Arbor's mostly does it that way. They usually turn them over to the towns.
Well, if that is the case, we need to know how much land is a park there that would be added to, and see if we need to buy any more or look at buying any more, or we don't have to worry about it, because we don't know right now.
We just need to look in the park impact study folder and find out what it tells us. I don't remember what it said. We need to reread it to find out. It tells us how much acreage we need to develop as a town. I just don't know what it is because it's been a while. So we can look at that. Maybe if you can pop in at some point, we can look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're about down to the budget for 2026. So we need to know where it did, with what we came up with, and Randy had seen that we had cut funds to be able to make the budget, and then you were gonna check and see if that went through, what happened
Yeah, I gave all that to you guys before.
before. what?
No, I don't, I
She
can't,
emailed it out.
Mhm.
She emailed it out.
I emailed out after we made all those changes and how much money we saved. But Jeff, you want to jump in here anytime? I believe we still have to do something.
The first thing I'll say is I want to commend the council on the work you did during that budget session, because the cuts you made and the changes to the budget has significant impact on what's going to happen next year. We're still a little shy of getting to where we need to be, where we got a balanced budget moving forward. We're still deficit budgeting right now by somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000. That leaves us basically with nothing to start 27 with. So we still need to take a look at that and how can we move it. That's one of the discussions we came up with. Pilot payment is it time to do something there? The other recommendation that we would have for the council would be to consider using the lit funds that you set aside, the 20% you've been setting aside, to offset some of the police costs for uniforms and some things that come out of the general fund. Typically, you can start using some of those funds to help offset some of those costs. You really don't have much choice at this point in time. You're going to have to, because if you start 27 with a zero balance, there's no way you're going to budget for 28 and get an approved budget. So we've got to start turning the ship around a little bit and getting some money built back up into the general fund, even if that means maybe pulling back some of the places that you've done some work in the last few years. And so those are the recommendations, is to take a serious look at moving some of those general fund items that are police, possibly fire, to the lit fund that you've been using. And just a reminder, I don't know if you guys remember what Jared told you. Typically, Cronin Associates, the company he works for, they recommend that you try to have a 1 year, basically a cash balance of 1 year of expenses. That's a lot more than I've normally worked with, but I've also, in the budgets that I've worked with, have been a lot larger budgets. So you don't have, typically in a smaller budget, you would have more of a cash balance, and you shoot for more of a cash balance. Right now, we're at almost break even. And that leaves us with very little cash balance to work with. So we've got to start getting that cash balance back. I think our target should be in the next 2 years, 3 years, to get to a 25 to 30% cash balance. And that will allow us then to start, and we're going to start working with Jared on the possibility of doing a 3 and a 5 year financial plan for the town, as opposed to just budgeting 1 year at a time and not really kind of planning for the future. So that's the direction we're heading, is to get that 3 to 5 year plan put together. That's going to take some work, and turning the deficit budgeting around is going to take a little bit of work, but we're heading in the right direction. So those are things I think you should consider. You can make changes today, or we can make changes at the next meeting. We've still got just a little bit of time. We're running out of time though. So
I think one of the things that help us, we need to know about that, the monies that we get from utilities. We need to know that as soon as possible, if in fact that's going to change in our favor, or it's going to stay the same, or we lose money, but we need to know.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, now that the asset management stuff is here, Jared can look at those and take, typically that's not a calculation that's going to take him a long time. I do believe he's out of town this week. Am I right about that?
I'm not sure.
I think he told me maybe he was going to be out of town this week, but I'm not sure.
And really, what we have is a rough draft. We don't have the final of the asset inventory.
Right,
We just have the rough.
But we can use the number to come up with something, so.
I've been emailing with him about that, so do you want me to just let him know to go ahead and do that?
Yes.
You want him to run those numbers?
We made the final payment on the asset management program, didn't we? And
We
don't-
did.
And we
We
don't
did.
have a completed,
We don't have the final completed stuff yet.
thought we were supposed to have that before we made the final payment. Pretty sure that's what his contract said. Final payment at completion of the project.
Okay, so we're looking at,
How much money are we spending
Joseph
in planning
Wells.
services that would be free if we were belonged to the county, or ABC?
I'd have to look, I don't know exactly what that number is off the top of my head. There could be a couple things we'd have to add together to.
So- Is Deb working on that for them to include planning or only inspecting?
Inspection is all they're working on right now. Now, plan review can be a part of that. What Deb Lazier is working on, she faced a little bit of resistance from one of her ABC members the other night. But what she's working on is basically a menu of services that we could just go down and check. You know, we want you to do this, we want you to do this, we want you to do this. That's what her proposal would be. We may, that may change a little bit with the pushback that she got, so I'm not sure exactly where that's gonna head.
One of our members was pushing back? One of our members was pushing back? Or
No, one of the county ABC members was asking the question as to why they would take us on. I think the obvious answer is it's good for both of us.
We were just talking about inspection, for inspection.
Yeah, for
services,
inspection,
right?
but
So
the
not
plan
like the-
review can be
Yeah.
part of that too.
Well,
So we have an issue right now where I've got a couple of things where they're needing to get some work done, they're needing to get a permit. I'm not qualified to tell someone they can add on to a house and then tear down part of the house and build a new house, and can't do that. So actually, Kirby Britton stopped by and picked up all that information the other day to do. I need to get with you, Earl, because I need your signature on something for a right-of-way permit. Yeah, so I've got to get with you on that because unfortunately, they had sent that, I don't know how long ago, but it was about the time that Ben left, so.
I wasn't referring to inspections for out there. I'm referring to just our APC. We're using Marcellus. He's not free. Deb's not free.
Right.
Yeah, county is free.
Well,
So if we're gonna look at cutting things,
yeah, it's not it's not particularly free. It's just your permitting fees would go to the county at that one time. So,
but we're not gonna be paying Marcellus, we're not gonna be paying Deb, is my point.
I think
And
maybe
if we're
they're talking
trying to
about
cut money, if you wanna take money away from the police department and we're gonna cut all these other things, we need to look at cutting everything.
well, yeah, there's a lot of edges to this sword right here. So if you join the APC, the county APC, you do gain all of those services, and basically your permit fees would then go to the county. If we're doing this on a services-based pricing structure, then we'd be paying for each inspection. We'd be paying for a plan review. So if an inspection is $45, I don't know what she's proposing for a plan review, but let's assume it's $250 for a plan review. That's just another fee in that menu that we would be paying. One of the concerns, and I spoke to Randy about this a little bit, one of his concerns is that citizens here would have to possibly go to Lebanon to get their permitting done. Some people don't like that, so it's something to consider. But yeah, there's a lot of expenses, and I wasn't really aware that you wanted us to dig into that so deeply, but I can.
I don't, I'm just bringing it up. I mean, if we're
Yeah.
cutting money,
I can dig into that and see what that total cost was last year.
I mean, it's not paying, the fees we're collecting now aren't paying.
Yes, but,
No,
So we're going in the hole. So
so
and
Right
it's
like I
now,
said, if
some
we're
of
gonna
the
cut,
planning-
let's cut.
has come out of general.
And one of the things I want everybody to understand, though, even if you did join,
But then
you can still
also,
have a local APC
we
that
have
advise
a
a member
contract
on
with
the
MS
APC.
Consultants for
So
the
you can
planning
still have
and
some of
zoning.
that local review,
But I think we're to the
giving
point
advice
now
to
where
the APC.
they are supposed to have the zoning
We can't pay for the services that APC is
by
using. I mean, we can't even pay for,
of a year. So
to get
what I have
paperwork done
now,
for the
I have
town
to say
so that we
that's
can
supposed
pay.
to come out of.
cut it. There ain't no one here can argue against it. We ain't got the money for it.
Who's going to do those things? Who's going to
county.
approve?
The county would.
Oh, so you're saying just give it to the county, period?
Yes.
And
Just
join the
become members of the APC is what he's suggesting, yeah.
Thorntown used to be part of the APC, and then you withdraw from the APC, and then formed your own, but, yeah.
Just an idea.
So what do you, what do you want to do about that? You want to make a motion to go with them?
If you'd like me to meet with Deb and get a kind of a rundown on what that would look like, I'd be happy to do that. One of you're welcome to join us. That way we can bring back a report at the next meeting. If you want to try to do that.
Bruce, do you want to see how much the town is paying per year for planning services for your APC and whatnot now?
Well, I mean,
What you'd saving?
it'd be nice to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even at that point, we're still not bringing in nothing.
When you saw the report that I sent out, I don't know, did I send it to the council or just the current at this point? Did I send you guys one? It's the amount,
For permits,
the permitting amount is not very much, just so you know. It doesn't add up to a lot of dollars. Now, it'll change a bit once the 2 homes are started, but it's still not going to be a large dollar. It won't offset the cost of the building inspector, it won't offset the cost of planning. It just won't do it. In a town this size, it just doesn't.
Why did we step away from the APC original?
I don't know. That was before me. That was, do you know when Thornton withdrew from, I mean, it was in the,
It goes back a ways.
yeah,
Yeah, probably,
60s? I mean, it was a long time ago.
yeah.
It was, yeah.
I thought we did that when you first was on the board. I thought we paid for being with the APC.
I don't recall. I don't know.
I thought we did,
Did what?
along with the APC.
No,
no, we haven't.
no, you haven't belonged to the APC in decades. It's been a long time.
Years.
Like 1960s or something.
Okay.
The town withdrew, yes, 60s or 70s.
I don't know where I got that. I thought we had joined the APC because I know it's brought up about every year. It's been brought up.
You're probably thinking of doing EDC.
Yes.
We do a yearly
Oh, yeah.
thing with them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we did.
Okay, we're done with the budget for the time being.
I
That's
mean,
really all I had on it.
everybody needs to look at your budget schedule that I gave you, because we're gonna have to change it now. I went in there to get mine and I laid it someplace else. I had down by September the 8th that we needed to post the Form 3, which is the notice to the public. Now, we can still post it as is because we can always lower our budget. We can't increase it, but we can post it as is and put it on there. But right now, I've got the public hearing scheduled for September the 22nd. But I don't think you're going to be ready for the public hearing September 22nd. And that's going to have to change. But every year I let you guys know in June that the budget's coming. I've shared that we needed to relieve some burden off of the general fund. And we're finally down to push comes to shove. I've mentioned, I don't know how many times over the years, that we've got to talk about the health insurance. Nobody ever wants to talk about it.
We talk about
And
it.
here we are.
We don't want to change it.
Well, I understand that.
Okay, well, we talk about it.
But now there's no money in the general fund. So whether we like it or not, it's going to have to be revisited.
And that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing for the last month. It's just taking longer than your schedule.
Unfortunately, every year you wait until the last month.
Okay.
Nobody looks at anything ahead of time. Just saying.
All right. Well,
I do have a meeting scheduled, Corinne set up a meeting with Todd Coleman from Health Insurance representative to meet with him next week. So we're going to discuss what possibilities there are of saving you money.
Okay, is this the second reading?
First.
First reading.
First reading of the ordinance 2025-2.
Yes. Can I technically read it? Being a part-time employee? We just read it. Okay. All right. So this is ordinance 2025-2. It is an ordinance that is amending. Should I have written amending the ordinance up here? Because I redid the whole thing. Did I mess that up? what we're doing on this ordinance, just like what we did with the utility advisor, we have added the clerk treasurer advisor on here at $30 an hour. And in order for that to happen, the salary ordinance has to be amended. Oh, that needs to change. We will want that out. Do you know if you're gonna suspend the rules and pass it this evening,
We can.
since everybody's here? Okay,
It's okay.
so we're okay. All right. So that's the ordinance.
This is just the second ordinance.
Oh, no, I should have put a new number on it. It needs a new number. Twenty 25-4 is the new number. And that one addition is the only thing that has changed other than the effective date. Added on clerk treasurer advisor.
Okay. Okay. Yep, that's fine.
I'm done. That's my reading.
We didn't read very much.
I summarized and explained what it was. Do you want me to read this whole thing? Okay.
Okay.
I could.
We can make a motion to suspend the rules. We'll make a motion to suspend the rules of the 2025-4. And
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, pass.
And then you need a motion to adopt. Grumpy, then you need a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-4.
And somebody want to make a motion to adopt the ordinance 2025-4?
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-4.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
And everybody signs.
Can I have the claims one?
I'll say, just so you guys know, until, and maybe Ally will know how to do this, but until we get these speakers going, believe it or not, when you go back and listen to stuff on here, you can't hear hardly anything anybody says.
Okay, council, anybody got any other business? I'll bring up. Randy, Sarah?
Nope.
Gary? No. Bruce? Okay. I guess we're done until it's not.
Oh yeah, we can't adjourn yet. Yep. I think they've got some of it down there already.
Thank everybody for coming, appreciate it.
On.
Meeting will be adjourned when we get
Things they're signing. Oh, so that's it. Things you- If you could do it by day, sometime you could.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Right.
For some reason, I thought we had
Place
to.
in here.
No, you guys are different because.
I know we're different.
You're not talking about DLG, so I don't have to have any other stuff until later.
Okay.
So,
Well, me and Earl and kind of worked on the budget for the utilities. He's got to try to get that done. Well, there still isn't a utility budget. We have numbers. It tells us what percentage we're using. Here's how we do our budget. I go to Sandy and I say, the ones that, the lines that you know what it's gonna be, have an idea what it's gonna be, put in there what it's gonna be, or what you think. If you don't know what it is, raise it 3%. That's our budget.
it works.
I don't know
Yeah.
how it works.
Well, the whole idea was to hopefully give you guys an idea, start showing you, what you spend. So,
There's the
if you show
agreement,
that,
for engineering services for solar or other, that we can negotiate.
Well, we might find some
So
lines
approved it
that-
subject to legal review and negotiations, and so we've
Might
negotiated.
end up
So
that they hadn't
you
used,
can
didn't even know
sign
what it was for, so
right
they
there,
were
and
take
then-
that out of the budget, we might find some of that too. And at least by doing that, we can look at it, which will be there next time. They can look at it, and if they want to give raises, they're able to see if they have the money. And also, they might be able to tell better when they need to raise, which reminds me, when we raise pay,
This is the
we
engineering
have to
agreement.
have a percentage from it.
percentage is 7.65.
Makes no sense. Okay,
Per is 11.2.
1.2, 11.2. What is that? What's the total roughly? 14. Give me the whole number.
Seven and 11 are 18 and 6.5.2. So
It's there.
I just
So we're
said
at 19.
probably. If you did that, you would
Yeah,
probably.
I'd be close. I just gotta be close. I didn't think it was that high. See, these guys want to give a big raise to our 2 hourly employees. And I'm not against that. They want to raise them. I don't know what
See it out here?
Do you all want to keep this, or does this stay in the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a
I hear a motion to adjourn.
This is
Okay. Make a motion to adjourn at 8:53.
I hear a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Oh. 19%.
Anybody opposed?
Give them that raise. What are you gonna do?
plus your health insurance, you're paying 80% of the health insurance.
That's not in here?
No, it's above and beyond that.
Well, but
Yeah.
the health insurance one has changed.
Well, no.
Yeah, that's what, okay.
If you're wanting to look at ordinance,
Right.
I gave everybody 2 years ago, I figured on that for everybody.
What?
A few years ago, I figured that for everybody.